Good morning. It's right now 11 o'clock a.m. Wednesday morning, 2nd of Eir, the 30th of April, Tashim Pei 2025. I'm going to give a share on the lesson on truth of the Chaim. Lesson on truth, Tמים, Sefer Shem Oilam. Daily studies in honesty and fundamentals of Jewish faith. The shir is sponsored by Chaim, the handyman, and the many sponsors that follow and contribute to the panos of this resource. Today is again Beis Eir. So I'm going to go to Beis Eir over here. Above nature, look to the rock from which you were hewn, at the hollow of the pit from which you were dug. Look to Abraham, your forefather, and Sarah your bore, who bore you. For when he was yet alone, did I summon him and bless him and make him many. Shia 5:51-1-2. These words the prophet comforts the Jewish people who have been scattered and downtrodden in the long, difficult exile. According to the natural order of the world, there seems to be no possible way for the Jews too shamed and despised to extricate themselves from their situation and rise to become a light unto the nations. Therefore the prophet says, this should not worry you at all. The destiny of the Jewish people is unlike that of any other nation. Other nations rise and fall little by little in a natural ascent or descent. The Jews, however, are beyond the plane of natural, and if you require proof of this, look to the rock from which you were hewn. That is your roots, when were your ancestors, Avram and Sarah, finally blessed with a child. The birth of Yitzchak was an open miracle, for at that time Avram was 100 years old and Sarah was 90. The Torah relates that when Hashem informed Avram of Yitzchak's birth, he took Avram outside and said to gaze on toward the heavens and count the stars. If you are able to count them, so shall your offspring be. Now, first of all, there's a lot of places said that actually Avram Avinu went and started counting the stars and naming each one of them. Like we say until Rashis 15:5. As Midrash explains, Avram had seen in the constellations that according to the natural order of the world, he was not destined to have a child. Hashem took him outside, meaning that Avram was shown that he was outside natural limitations, because he alone was Hashem's faithful servant in a world sunk in idolatry. Hashem had placed him his destiny, and that of his offsprings beyond the plane of nature. Though we live in a time of Hester Panim, divine concealment, when the guiding hand of providence is not revealed, in the obvious way, one can recognize Hashem's involvement in this world merely by taking note of miraculous survival of the Jewish people, physically and spiritually. Rabbi Meir Bloch was one of the Torah luminaries whom Providence saved from the flames of the Holocaust to build Torah in America. Bloch overcame great personal loss to revive the glory of Lithuania as he founded the great Tel Yeshiva on these shores. During the dark days of the Second World War, Reb Bloch entered one of the few Judaica stores in, we'll see, page 266. America, and asked to purchase a Sefer Ketzos HaChoshim, a work basic to in depth of Talmudic study. Storekeeper climbed the ladder and brought down a volume caked with dust. Wiping it off, and told Reb Bloch, "Take good care of this. It's the last Ketzos HaChoshim that will be sold in America." He was not joking. For the great yeshivas of Europe gone, and a few yeshivas elsewhere, the future of Torah scholarship seemed bleak to the average observer. Reb Bloch, however, was not the average observer. He pounded his fists on the store counter and declared, "And I say that they will yet sell hundreds of Ketzos HaChoshim in America." Since those words were uttered, thousands of Ketzosim have been sold in America, and the total number of Svarim sold here is probably in the millions. The miracle continues. So basically, Klal Yisrael is a nation to exist forever. Forever we will exist. And we look back to the miracles of how Avram and Sarah started with Yitzchak at the age of 119 having a baby. Not only that, even the miracle of the Exodus Mitzrayim, which started from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was born when Yocheved was 130 years old, and Amram wasn't no youngster either. And they had a child who came to save them, to continue them to go on. And with Klal Yisrael out in the Midbar and out to Eretz Yisrael later on, we stand of a nation of miracles. And may today's list, the destiny of Jewish people is unlike that of any other nation. May today's learning be schus of Yehovah. That everybody should have a schus to make $5 trillion US dollars today. They should have a schus to make so much money today. Schus to slimud for ish lefi gilgolos. Every single person lefi gilgolos. And so much money should come into every single person's pocket. That's the Hashem Yisbarach. Schus learning the Chofetz Chaim. Hatzlacha Rabba, my dear brothers. May you see Yeshua's bracha v'hatzlacha b'chol yom. Koto, my dear brothers. Hatzlacha Rabba. My phone number is 848-238-4432 or 329-225-2339. You can call for Chaim or the Handyman, or David Yishai Orchestra, Music and Therapy, music for simchas, or for short ride car service. Thank you very much. Hatzlacha Rabba, Zayga Bench.